Early next morning, we two brothers will go to that mountain. We promise you that we shall capture the old monster and return 4 princes to you." When the queen and other court ladies heard this, all of them kowtowed to Pilgrim and said, "We pray earnestly that the lives of His Highness and his heirs be preserved, and that his royal dominion be established forever." After their bows, each of them returned to the palace, struggling to hold back her tears. Pilgrim gave this instruction to the various officials: "Skin that yellow lion spirit that we have beaten to death, and lock up the rest of the 6 living ones. Bring us some vegetarian food so that we may take a rest after the meal. You can all relax, for I promise you nothing serious will occur." On the following day, the great sage led Shamunk to mount the auspicious cloud, and in a little while, they arrived at the summit of the Bamboo Knot Mountain. As they lowered the direction of their cloud to look around, they saw a marvelous tall mountain indeed, with a row of peaks rugged, and summits most jagged. Deep in the stream flows a gurgling torrent. Below the cliff blooms the ornate fragrance. Winding ranges one after one, and ancient paths encircling. Truly the cranes arrive to squire the pines. But the clouds depart to make the rocks forlorn. The apes face the sunlight to search for fruits, and deer enjoy the warmth to find their flowers. The bluebird's reedy songs, the oriole's murmurous notes. Spring peaches and plums vie for glamour. Summer elms and willows both prosper. Autumn spreads brocades of yellow flowers. Winter comes with white snow aflutter. A splendid scene in all 4 seasons, as good as the immortal Isle Yingzhou. As they enjoyed the scenery on the summit, they suddenly caught sight of that child Blue Face dashing out of a little valley down below, his hand gripping a small cudgel. "Where do you think you're going?" bellowed Pilgrim. "Old Monkey's here." The little monster was so terrified that he tumbled down the slope, while the 2 brothers eagerly gave chase. In a moment, however, Blue Face disappeared. A few steps more brought them to the front of a cave dwelling, where they found tightly shut 2 doors of veined rocks. Across the top of the door was a stone placard, with the following inscription in clerkly script: "Myriad Numina Bamboo Knot Mountain, 9 Bends Curvate Cave." The little monster, you see, had dashed in and closed the doors, and had gone to the center of the cave to say to the old monster, "Venerable father, there are 2 monks outside again." The old monster said, "Did your great king and the rest return, Gibbon Lion, Snow Lion, Elephant Baiter, and Wildcat?" "I haven't seen any of them." "I haven't seen any of them," replied the little monster. "Only 2 monks high on the peak scanning the region. When I saw them, I turned and ran. They chased me back here, and I quickly bolted the door." On hearing this, the old monster fell silent for a long time. Then, all at once, he shed a few tears. "Whoa!" he cried. "My yellow lion grand disciple is dead, and the others have all been taken captive into the city by those priests. How am I to avenge myself?" Lying on one side, a melancholy 8 rules, who had been trussed up along with the Tang monk, the old prince, and his sons, and left there to suffer, was gladdened by this statement of the old monster about his grandsons. "Master, don't be afraid," he whispered. "And your highness, don't worry. My elder brother has won a victory and caught several monsters. He'll soon find his way here to rescue us." He finished speaking, and then he heard the old monster say, "Little ones, stand guard here. Let me go out and capture those 2 monks and bring them in here also for punishment. Look at him. With neither armor on his body nor weapons in his hands, he walked in big strides up to the front, where he could hear the shoutings of Pilgrimson. Flinging wide the doors, he did not wait for the exchange of even one word before heading straight for Pilgrim. As Pilgrim wielded his iron rod to meet him, Shamunk brandished his treasure staff and struck. All the old monster did was to give his head one shake, and 8 other heads with open mouths appeared, 4 on each side. Ever so gently they caught Pilgrim and Shamunk, and brought them inside the cave. "Bring me some ropes," he cried. Shifty and Freaky, Freaky and Shifty, and Child Blueface were the three who had escaped with their lives the night before. Taking out 2 ropes, they bound up the priests firmly. "You wretched ape," said the old monster. "You've taken my 7 grandsons, but I've caught 4 of you priests and 4 princes. That should be a fair exchange for my grandsons' lives. Little ones, select some thorny willow canes. Let's give this monkey head a flogging, so that my yellow lion grand disciple may be avenged." Each picking up a willow cane, those 3 little monsters began to rain blows on Pilgrim. Pilgrim's body, however, was one that had undergone prolonged cultivation and refinement. The effect of those willow canes on him was no more severe than scratching an itch. No matter how hard they flogged him, he neither showed concern nor made a sound. 8 Rules, the Tang monk, and the princes, however, were petrified at the sight. After a little while, even the canes broke from the flogging, and had to be replaced. It went on like this until evening. The blows Pilgrim received were numberless. When Sha Monk saw how long Pilgrim had been beaten, he felt guilty and said, "Let me take 100 strokes or so for him." "Don't be so impatient," said the old monster. "You'll be beaten tomorrow. Each of you will have your turn." Horrified, 8 Rules said, "Then the day after tomorrow will be Old Hog's turn." The flogging continued for yet another while until it grew dark. "Little ones, let's stop," cried the old monster. "Light the lamps and take some food and drink, all of you. I'm going to my brocade den to take a nap. All 3 of you have suffered before in the hands of these monks, and you should therefore guard them carefully. Wait till tomorrow before we flog them some more." Moving the lamps over, the 3 little monsters took up the willow canes and began beating Pilgrim's skull. Tick tick tock, tock tock tick, now fast, now slow. It sounded as if they were beating a rattle. As the night deepened, however, the monsters all fell sound asleep. Immediately Pilgrim exercised his magic of passage. He shrank his body and climbed out of the ropes. Having shaken loose his fur and straightened out his clothes, he whipped out his rod from his ear. One wave of it, and it acquired the thickness of a bucket and the length of 20 feet. "You cursed beasts," he said to the 3 little monsters. "You have beaten your venerable father umpteen times, but he hasn't changed a bit. Let your venerable father drop this rod on you a little, and see what happens." Ever so lightly he dropped the rod on those 3 little fiends, and at once they turned into 3 meat patties. Then Pilgrim pulled up the wick in a lamp, and began to untie Sha Monk. As he had been hurting from the ropes, 8 Rules could not refrain from saying in a loud voice, "Elder brother, my hands and feet are swollen. Why can't you untie me first?" This one yell of idiots aroused the old monster, who scrambled up immediately, saying, "Who's untying?" When he heard that, Pilgrim blew out the lamp immediately and abandoned Sha Monk. With his iron rod he punched through several doors and escaped. The old monster went out to the center hall and called out, "Little ones, why are the lights out? Has someone escaped?" He shouted like that once, but no one answered him. He cried again, but still there was no answer. By the time he lit a lamp himself, the first thing he saw were 3 bloody meat patties on the ground. Then he saw that the old prince, his sons, the Tang monk, and 8 Rules were still there. Only Pilgrim and Sha Monk had disappeared. With a lighted torch, he rushed to the back and front to search for them, and he found Sha Monk sidling along a wall in one of the porches. The old monster grabbed him, threw him on the ground, and tied him up as before. Then he continued to search for Pilgrim. When he saw that several of the doors had been smashed, he knew that Pilgrim had managed to escape. Instead of giving chase, he tried to patch up and repair the doors to guard his property. There we shall leave him for the moment. We tell you instead about the great sage Sun who, having emerged from the 9 Bends Curvate cave, went straight back to the Jade Flower County astride the auspicious cloud. In the air above the city he was met by several local spirits of the region, and the tutelary deities of the city, all bowing. "Why did you all wait until now to come to see me?" asked Pilgrim. These humble deities, replied the city god, knew already that the great sage had descended upon the Jade Flower County. Since you have been entertained by a worthy prince, we dared not intrude upon you. Now we have learned that the princes encountered fiends and that the great sage is in the process of subduing demons. We have therefore come especially to bow to receive you. Pilgrim was still annoyed, and was beginning to berate them when the golden-headed guardian, the 6 gods of darkness, and the 6 gods of light appeared with another local spirit in their custody. As they knelt down, they said, "Great sage, we have captured this devil in the earth and brought him here. Why aren't you all protecting my master at the Bamboo Knot Mountain?" Snapped Pilgrim. "Why are you milling about at this place?" One of the gods of darkness and light said, "Great sage, after you had escaped, the monster spirit captured again the curtain-raising general and had him tied up once more. When we saw how powerful his magic was, we rounded up the local spirit of the Bamboo Knot Mountain and marched him here. He should know the origin of this monster spirit."